Throughout the films, Palpatine was undoubtedly the strongest Sith, and arguably one of, if not the most powerful Sith to ever exist. He was a master of the Force, as well as having perfected all 7 forms of lightsaber combat. The guy was an absolute machine, and this shows when he single-handedly fought some of the Jedi Order's most powerful Jedi in Episode 3. Now, while a Sith doesn't use just one emotion to draw upon the Force, there is one in particular that they draw from the most. The Sith were essentially Jedi without any rules holding them back. Both users of the Force, however, one more flexible and free, while the other was bound with rules and ethics. They could unleash all forms of the Force instead of carefully using just one emotion. Their powers were fueled by their emotions, and through each victory, they would further gain more strength. Darth Maul used his hatred for the Jedi to call upon the dark side. From a young age, he was brainwashed by Palpatine to despise them, and lived every day of his life in constant focus and visualization for one thing: to kill the Jedi. Vader was a Sith and drew his power from everything wrong in his life. The death of Padme and his mother fueled him beyond belief. I'll make a separate video that goes in depth on his thoughts about hatred versus suffering and his comparison to Yoda versus Palpatine's methods as a master. It's actually pretty interesting, so stay tuned for it. But what about Palpatine? This video should help to analyze that answer. So here's a bit of a backstory. He had no real suffering growing up. I mean, he hated his family, but he was born in a high-class family with lots of money, extremely privileged, and from the beautiful home world of Naboo. He later became a successful politician who collected plenty of respect in his career from the galaxy. No one really treated him poorly, as he was always seen as this kind of old man who tried to make the cosmos a better place. So while he used all his emotions to draw upon the dark side, there was one in particular, and we can constantly see this when he refers to them in the films, always when trying to recruit a new apprentice. Yeah, you guessed it. Hatred.
The hate is swelling in you now.
Palpatine loved to hate. He was a hater, if you will. He hated the Jedi and all things that got in his way of total galactic domination. He found pleasure in mocking the Jedi, as that's literally the reason that he had a lightsaber, to make fun of them, knowing his Force powers were far beyond the bounds of any lightsaber's capabilities. So let's take 3 examples for this video. The first being, if we look at Episode 3, where he reveals himself to Anakin, we can hear him advocating the use of hatred and anger, to use it, how it gives him focus and makes him stronger. He wants him to use hatred towards everything that did him wrong.
I can feel your anger. It gives you focus.
Now let's fast forward to Episode 6. He tells the son of Skywalker the same thing, to use his hatred and strike him down, completing his journey to the dark side.
The hate is swelling in you now. Give in to your anger.
Now, third, in the book Darth Plagueis, which has been deemed legends, unfortunately, there's a passage that shows Plagueis discussing the intricacies of the Sith and the dark side. I'll make a video about this as well, where I can go further in depth. However, he basically taught Palpatine that the dark side was just the Force itself, but it was fueled by emotion that the Jedi constrained. Through this emotion, he could become a beast of the Force, and this emotion was hatred. So if you were a Sith, would you draw your power from hatred, suffering, or fear? Or would you use all your emotions equally? Let me know below. Also, try the quiz on the website. It's definitely one of the harder ones out there, and I want you to share your score with everyone else. See what you got. I'm gonna do my best to get that second upload coming for you today about Vader and his thoughts on Yoda versus Palpatine, as well as if he used hatred or suffering to gain strength. There's a few passages in the canon book, Lords of the Sith. It gets pretty cool. You'll see. Remember to hit like to support the channel, and I'll see you all in the next episode of Star Wars Theory. Until then, my fellow Jedi and Sith friends, remember,
the Force will be with you, always.
Now, fulfill your destiny.